toward us. This grace leads us towards something, not just away from something. We aren't just leaving behind selfish desires, but finding the opposite as well. We're finding generosity to replace our greed, humility to replace our pride, moderation to replace our gluttony. We're finding ourselves able to focus on people rather than work. We're finding honesty and openness instead of gossip. We're finding love instead of hate. We're finding sacrificial work for others instead of laziness. So after this extremely long season of Lent, one that has stretched a full year of our lives in many ways, I wonder if we can begin to see with new eyes the path God calls us to follow. I wonder if our giving up so much, our fasting, has allowed us to hold on more tightly to our promise from God that grace is what saves us, not our institutional church with its structures, not our committee meetings, not our programs, not our building, as beautiful and useful as it is, not many of the things that have made up our faith life in years gone by. Perhaps we see more clearly now what God has in store for us. As much as this wilderness exile has drained us, has worn us down, has been a struggle, perhaps this journey is leading us to a new promised land, one where we reevaluate what God is calling us to without the lens of how we've always done it. Because how we've always done it has already changed for 12 months. We already know that God can work in and through us, perhaps in some better ways when we change things up a little. And so this season is where we begin to prune those dead limbs that were once vibrant but no longer hold life. And we grow new shoots of righteousness through God's grace. I'm holding on to the hope in God's mercy that we now see anew, that we are saved by grace and made for good works. I'm believing that we can let go of those things that were holding us back, those things that were leading us toward death, whether it's in our individual lives, in our church lives, in our society. And I'm believing that God has a plan for us as we emerge from this exile and find new purpose together. Minister and poet Jan Richardson said it well when she wrote, "Even when we were dead," Paul writes, "even when we turned away from the one who created us, even when we lived in the grip of what drew our gaze from God, even when we were oblivious, even when we followed a path fashioned of nothing but our own desires, even when we wandered far and willfully away, even when we forgot to look past our own feet and to see the wonders not of our own making, even when we failed to stand in awe, to breathe thanks, to lean into the love that had waited long for us, even when," Paul writes, "even when, even then, grace." Friends, might we embrace this grace on our own journey now and see what all God has in store for us, without our own death living getting in the way. I think then we will know that this journey, this hard and terrible journey sometimes, has not been for naught. We have learned, we have grown, we have become more like the merciful God whom we love and serve. And that is good news as we leave this exile. Amen.
Our closing hymn today, You Are My All in All.
Thank you again for being with us for virtual church today. We look forward to continuing to stay in touch in the coming weeks in worship and study and prayer. I leave you now with this benediction. Out of great love, God, who is rich in mercy, has made us alive together with Christ. Through Christ, God has shown us the immeasurable riches of his grace. So let us go into the world to be open channels of that love and vessels overflowing with that grace. Go in peace to love and serve.